I do want to get your sense, William, when you look at the entire chip story, broadly speaking, not just in terms of individual names and individual earnings, do you think the market has given enough premium to these businesses, given the current demand environment or the foreseeable future of how demand is going to shape up, or perhaps there is still more headroom?
I think this is a very important question. We recognized that we were at a revenue growth trough in first quarter of last year. That's when we upgraded the sector. And it's clearly AI that's the primary driver of the growth that we're seeing now. Again, if you look at any individual company, product, or end market, you could see, growth peaking or troughing or rising a bit or falling a bit. But in aggregate, the trend is actually very clear, and that is that growth troughed in first quarter of last year, passed through into positive growth trajectory in about the middle of last year, and is now continuing to expand. And of course, AI is the major driver of that, and we think that the group has quite a bit more room to go here. And the favored names are these more AI-levered stories like Nvidia.
But is it sustainable? Because everyone's right now talking about does Nvidia have a moat, or are they going to start to get eaten away at by the likes of an AMD and some of the other players? Probably not Intel anytime soon. But realistically, and I can understand the justification for assuming that Nvidia is going to grow into this multiple. But is there any more juice left to squeeze to the upside? Because some are. You've probably seen some are calling for 800 price tags. I've seen up to 3,000, but let's just put those to the side. But is there more juice there?
Oh, I think for sure with Nvidia. I think we're very early days in the AI revolution or renaissance, you might call it. This concept of artificial intelligence and the parallel compute that drives it has been around since the 1960s. But the demand that we've seen in the very recent couple years, even that is really not so brand new. For the last perhaps 7 or 8 years, this end market has been growing and flourishing for Nvidia, and we think there's a significant amount of upside. The bear case in the stock and the concern that one might have is that we're going to see a normal cycle at some point when lead times for products are a year or thereabouts, perhaps even longer. Customers tend to overorder, and then at some point they get delivered, and then they start canceling orders, and you see a downturn. Many investors perceive that this is going to happen in late 24 to 25, and that's certainly possible with Nvidia. But I think we're very early days in sort of this evolution or revolution in artificial intelligence. So I think there's significant growth ahead.
Valuable insights, William.